Ringside crew. Welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther the Third.
There we go. Hey there, Ringside crew, and welcome to another episode in season 4 of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe Panther the Third, and man, last year was an interesting year. I had Izzy back. I've had so many awesome wrestlers on the podcast from Australia, from the Great Down Under. I've had Izzy, I've had Savannah Summers, I've had Jordan Sporty Sparkles, but today I'm going to add another male wrestler to my Dudes at Ringside Wall of Fame from Australia. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to my guest today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Joe. It's awesome to be here.
Awesome. So, who trained you?
From Riot City Wrestling, so mainly trained by Chris and Matt Basso, Rocky Monero, and Nick Armstrong are the main trainers that I've sort of come up with.
Awesome. So, what kind of stuff did they teach you when you first walked in that made you get this idea for your character, the wrestling style you do?
The guys that train me are sort of bigger guys as well, so sort of that big guy, big moves sort of stuff. So I was always drawn to people like that. Obviously in the industry in WWE, like Undertaker, Kane, those sort of guys. So following in that sort of footsteps, and the trainers were able to show me that sort of stuff, being the bigger guys. So that drew me into that sort of style.
Awesome. So, for my American fans that would not be very much familiar with you, how would you describe in three or four words to what they would be if they looked you up on YouTube? What would they like? What kind of action and what kind of stuff would they find about you?
Yeah, powerhouse, strength, intensity, and just lots of yelling, lots of throwing guys around is pretty much me summed up.
American wrestling fans love to hear wrestlers yell and powerhouses. So, is there anybody from America that you've been watching on the Instagrams or the TikToks or the YouTubes that you've been really, really wanting to scrap with, but you haven't had a chance to yet?
In America, yeah, there's a lot of there's so many great wrestlers around. If we're talking top of level, someone like Matt Cardona would be awesome. Or that Slade Mercer. He's a big dude throwing people around, so that'll be a pretty cool little matchup. If I could get my foot in the door over there, anybody, anytime would be great.
Awesome. I'm from Pennsylvania on the East Coast, and there's quite a few. There's a lot of smaller indie promotions here in Pennsylvania, but there's one that I really suggest you to put on your little notepad or your book that you want to come here in the East Coast. Definitely hit up PPW in Slavington, Pennsylvania. They have a lot of good wrestlers that you've probably seen on AEW Dark on YouTube. Facade, with his wife Danny Moe. So, what made you get into the professional wrestling business?
I guess it's the same story as most people. Grew up watching it as a kid, and then I was from a small country town, just watching the WWE and that sort of stuff. And then when I moved to the big city, and found out that it was actually a possibility to be a wrestler, I went to one of the tryouts, gave it a go, and fell in love from there. And that was it. And sort of that became my new hobby, passion. Just loving it as a kid, and then when you actually find out you can do it, getting into it, and then finding out that it suits you, and then going from there.
So who were some of the wrestlers that you used to watch as a kid that really like made you go, I could do that?
My favourite's always been like The Undertaker, and then watching people like John Cena, Batista, those sort of guys, just inspiring to be big and jacked like those guys and wrestling. And then seeing the smaller guys, people like The Miz and those sort of guys, Dolph Ziggler, they really inspired me to try and be like them.
Awesome. So you said the Undertaker. What is like your all time favorite, like top 5 Undertaker matches of all time?
We'd be like that. We put in both the Undertaker, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania matches, Undertaker, Triple H. There's so many. I loved matches back when he was American Badass and going around Kane Brothers Destruction. So any of those sort of tag team matches were always good fun to watch. And any of his sort of run as the American Badass was really good.
Awesome. Do you have any cool stories from any matches you've done?
Cool. It's a good question. Well, I started out as a referee when I first was sort of breaking in. In my first ever match, I was super kicked within the first 30 seconds of the match. So that was kind of cool, kind of crazy at the same time.
Oh, geez.
Getting to wrestle Adam Brooks was probably like in a whole was a very cool moment. Getting to step in with him one-on-one, such a legend here in Australia and has made such a name for himself worldwide. That was a very cool and humbling experience as well.
Awesome. So like the guy you said you wrestled, you said Adam Brooks?
Yeah.
Like what did he like? Did you and him like after the match get a chance to like speak about the match and stuff like that?
Yeah, we did. We got to have a chat about it, and he was happy with the match. I was very happy with the match, so that gave me great pride and made me feel like I can actually hang in there with some of the guys at that level. So yeah, it was all pretty good feedback, and he taught me a whole lot at the same time as well. So very thankful for that match.
Awesome. So you like with you being a wrestler, like have you ever been recognized outside of the ring, like when you're like shopping or you're out with your family?
Yeah, definitely. Living in Adelaide is a very small city. Some people call it a small country town. It's almost that small, but yeah, sometimes you're out doing your grocery shopping. You'll bump into some fans, or at the gym. Sometimes we advertise, put up posters at the gym that I train at. So get a few people recognise you off the posters and stuff like that, and come up and say hello. So yeah, it's always nice when they recognise you and say hello. Always a good feeling.
Awesome. So like who made your gear, your wrestling gear?
It was actually Savannah Summers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I guess of this podcast. Yeah, and I sort of come up with the look myself, what I wanted to look like. Went and sourced some fabrics and materials, and Savannah is one of the best gear makers in Australia. So was lucky enough for her to make mine, and she's made all mine ever since I started. So very thankful for her. She does a great job. So yeah.
Awesome. Big shout out to Savannah Summers. We love you, Savannah. Even though she's a big heel. She'd be like, don't say you love me. No. Yes, say you love me. Yes, yes.
She would love it.
She's a heel. She'd be like, yes, yes, take the love.
Yeah, for sure.
So with wrestling, everybody has their little thing. Is it like what kind of matches are like definitely like for you a no-go? Like you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that kind of match.
Probably like death matches. Are probably not my thing. All the glass and the barbed wire and stuff like that's not on for me. So I'll probably stay away from those sort of matches. I'm happy to try everything else. I've sort of tried most other matches. Not a fan of like a submission match or anything like that, just for a basic sort of match. But would be happy to give it a go. But yeah, death matches are probably off my list.
So, my last 3 questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, the ultimate goal is at the moment to travel around Australia and make a big name for myself here in Australia. I've done some interstate trips over the last couple of years to other states, and slowly starting to sort of make my way in there. So the next couple of years, I really want to take myself all over Australia and then be someone who's wanted over Australia, and then eventually, if the opportunity is there, to either go to America or somewhere like Japan, and then have a go over there. So Australia is the first target, but if any opportunities present themselves in the meantime to go overseas, then I'll definitely take that if I can.
Awesome. My last question is it's a good one. If you could bring back any either manager or former wrestler, who would you bring back to be like your last, like your big match at a show, or manager? Who would it be?
Oh, that is a good question. Oh shit. Are we talking like interstate, overseas WWE sort of style wrestlers,
Yeah, like
or?
a WWE, like NWA person like that. They could be living or dead. It could be living or dead.
Yeah, yeah,
It won't be a zombie. I'm not saying you have to face a zombie. Like Time Machine, Forbidden Door style. They're not dead.
yeah,
They're dead, but they're
yeah.
not. Like back in the day, like kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I reckon having a match against Eddie Guerrero would be amazing. Um, so maybe Eddie Guerrero, or even like Kevin Nash. That would be a pretty cool match. So maybe one of those two would be an awesome sort of dream match there. And then manager, um, probably just Jimmy Hart would be awesome to have him at ringside yelling and carrying on would
Oh
be
God,
amazing.
yelling and making fun of the audience. Oh God.
Yeah, yeah. I've got myself a little hype man at the moment, AMT. So it would be pretty much similar to that, just turned up a level. So that'd be pretty cool.
Oh jeez. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
I'm Redshaw.
and we will catch you in the next one. Good night, everybody, or have a
Thank
good
you.